Alright guys, so today I'm going to talk about something that is not really talked about, and that is why does fundamental analysis work, and you'll be surprised by the reasons. Let's talk about that right now. Coming up next. The first reason why you should consider fundamental analysis is because if the pros use it, maybe you might want to consider also using it. The amount of traders who win in a professional trading world is a lot more as compared to the amount of winners in the retail trading world, because in the retail trading world, only 10% of traders make money. In fact, if you look at most of the hedge fund managers' strategy, they use about 80 to 70%, 70 to 80% FA, fundamental analysis, and 20 to 30% technical analysis. And why is it that in the retail trading industry, a lot of educators also talk about indicators, holy grail trading system? Why is that? It's because a trading educator today, if they talk about trading system, if they sell a course today and they emphasize on technical analysis, guess what? The course is going to sell better as compared to a course that's talking about like how to manage fear and greed. Who is gonna buy the course? Now that doesn't mean that you should completely ignore technical analysis, because you need technical analysis to help you determine where to enter, where to place your stop loss, where to set your TP target. But don't rely on technical analysis alone, because you're going to lose money. Now the second reason why you should use FA is because in the long term, markets are driven by fundamentals, or to put it specifically, expectations of the fundamentals, sentiment, how people perceive the fundamentals. So in a way, fundamentals in the long term, it drives the long-term trend. Okay, in the short term, what drives the market is short-term emotions, fear and greed. It allows you to capture the long-term trend. Meaning you want to catch the big fish. Instead of making 100 trades a day, each trade capturing 1 pip, 5 pip, you just make one trade and you hold it for 1 to 3 months. Isn't that a lot more relaxing? Of course, trading is not relaxing, but isn't it a lot less stressful? Because if you are getting in and out of the trade every day, day trading, scalping, of course some people can pull it off, but then first thing first, it makes you stressed out. Second thing, you're making the broker rich because you're paying him the spread every single day. The broker loves you so much. You know, the thing is, brokers don't really like traders who trade long term, because you only open one trade in 3 months. It's like, I only earn from you that one trade, that's it. What kind of client is this? I want a client who trades every single day so that I get paid every single day. It doesn't matter if you lose money, that is your problem. But with that said, doesn't mean that capturing large, big trends is for everybody, because when you're trading such a long, large time frame, chances are you're going to have a low win rate, because your risk to reward ratio is very good, but then you need to compromise on your win rate. So what long-term trend followers have to deal with is low win rate, but then their one big catch can cover their previous many small losses. And the third thing allows you to do is it helps you determine whether a currency is overvalued or undervalued. Now in stock investing, there's this thing called intrinsic value, okay? Meaning it's the true value of the company. Intrinsic value doesn't really apply to currency pairs, but it's still the same principle. You need to buy when it's below the true value, so that in the next few years, the stock price is going to reach its intrinsic value. Of course, intrinsic value, it changes all the time, it's not fixed. And the ability to spot undervalued, overvalued currency pairs. This skill, you can apply it into stock market, because if you are able to hold a trade for at least 1 month, it trains your level of patience. And in the retail trading world, what is really lacking is patience. People don't have the patience to research. People don't have the patience to hold a trade. People don't even have the patience to search for a video So number 4, the good thing about fundamental analysis is that if you are super busy, you can consider becoming a long-term trader, because all you do is just hold the trade. So it's very suitable for working professionals if you are so busy that you don't have time to breathe. You make less trades, but you make good quality trades. The problem with a lot of retail traders is that they like to make trades every single day. But then the problem is that the trades that they make are not necessarily the highest quality trade. You gotta have standards. You need to be like, I only drink Starbucks coffee. I only eat in 5-star restaurants, and hence the trade that I make has to be 5-star as well. You cannot drink $1.40 tea. When you trade long term, you might make less trades than a typical day trader scalper. But does that mean that you are less profitable? No. In fact, I feel that the less trades you make, the more money you make, and the more time you will have for other things. You can go swimming, you can go gym, and the market is going to do the lifting for you. Karen, it is so hard to learn about GDP, inflation, interest rates. Okay, then go back to scalping. You love your broker so much, you want to make him rich? Be my guest. Number 5, this is very important, okay? I don't care if you're a day trader, I don't care if you're a scalper, you cannot afford to ignore fundamental analysis, because you're gonna be like, Karen, why do I keep getting stopped out? If you completely ignore the economic calendar, the most basic one, for example, Forex Factory, which is what a lot of people use, it's hard for you to become profitable, because you're gonna find yourself getting stopped out again and again, and you wouldn't know what happened. You don't know what you don't know. So number 5, it allows you to understand what is going on around you, what's happening in the economy right now in your country. It allows you to understand economic sentiment. Karen, but all this stuff doesn't affect me. Okay, 20 years ago, a cup of tea less than $1. Is that right? 20 years later, it is $1.40. Maybe 20 years later from now, $2.40. It doesn't affect you. How can you predict that a recession is going to come and prepare for it by looking at leading economic indicators? That doesn't affect you. You don't have to be an economist. You don't even have to pursue trading to get affected by all these economic indicators that's happening all around you. The problem with most people is that they don't understand any of these things, and hence they let things happen to them rather than preparing for what is going to happen in the future, preparing for inflation, preparing for the next recession. Now, the good thing about fundamental analysis is that you don't really need to have an economics background, even though I've studied it back in university. But my point here is this: you don't need to have an economics degree, an economics background, a finance background to be able to master fundamental analysis. And also, one very important thing, learn how to spot which are the leading economic indicators. Because what most retail traders are looking at are the lagging economic indicators, and they make their trades just based on lagging economic indicators, and that doesn't make sense. It is like making a trade every single day just based on, okay, MACD, it crossed above zero line. Doesn't make sense to make a trade based on lagging technical indicators. Same thing with fundamental economic indicators. Now, if you are already subscribed to this channel, I'm going to share more about economic indicators in the next few videos. But if you don't know anything about fundamental analysis, you don't know anything about economic theory, what's interest rate parity, purchasing power parity, what is GDP, what's interest rates, how the central banks work, I've done a free course a while ago. You can go and check it out. Okay, so with that, talk to you in the next video. Bye.